In all, my dear friends, my dear family, and I consider you to be family, a very demented, deranged, weird group of people that I love immensely. I wish I could somehow be in a room with all of you. It's a great segue for January 14th, but I digress. But I wish we could be together, and I would. There's so many of you that I know by name, but I know, I think I know you. I know kind of as a thumbnail, and I, it's so, you spoil me so much because you're so smart. I'm not being gratuitous. It's the truth. You know so much. I always have to like tone you down. Like, no, take it easy. Everybody else in the world, I got to tone up. They don't understand. They don't get it. People don't get it. I am surrounded, as I'm sure you are, by some of the most stupid people of all time. There's Rebecca and Ale Breve, the lovely and talented, the enigmatic Liz Solak, Kenny Brown, Big Dick Long, thank you, Dickie, Ron Shapiro, or as the cool ones say, Shapiro, William Fabe, K. Fabe, D. Dion, Ken Diazio, Shootist George, Andy Carmen, Susie Bell, thank you, welcome. Alla Breve. We have a friend I told you in the family who put on her Instagram the other day a little joke about grandma being run over by reindeers. And they had two reindeer jumping into a car, looking furtive, looking mischievous, looking to run over grandma. And she was actually suspended, not her suspended, her information was edited because it promoted violence. Who cares about Twitter when you have this? She was making a joke about a stupid song, and this is the world that we live in, right? This is the world that we live in. I wish you one thing this year: patience, tolerance, and an insatiable curiosity. I can't say this enough to you. I can't say it enough to you. I wish you an insatiable curiosity. I wish you, let me give you an idea. I love to read things. The other day we're sitting around, and I'm sitting on a couch, a divan, a settee, as it were, and I'm looking at this tree. You notice how people say, oh, it's an 8-foot tree. It's like, no, that's not an 8-foot tree. But people loved it, whatever it is. And it's basically this dead tree that you drag into a house, but you decorate. Where does that come from? It's pagan. It's from Saturnalia, the winter solstice, putting things on trees for good luck and for this. Santa Claus is the best. It's Odin, it's Santa Claus and the birds and all of this wild but Odin and the 8-legged deer or cow or whatever the hell it was, and how they would put bags of carrots out to feed this. I mean, it's the stocking, and it's pagan. So I'm talking to somebody, and this person says, oh, there you go again. They think pagan means anti-Christian. They say, no, this is before Christianity. It existed before Constantine, before no understanding whatsoever. Mulled cider, curdled cream, the traditions of it, how holly was a means by which Christians could hide during Saturnalia. I mean, just all of this great stuff. And nobody cares. So this year, a little ahead of time right now, I wish you this insatiable curiosity. I want you to be absolutely overwhelmed with curiosity about everything. Look at the history. Look at what we do. Why do we do this? The idea of carols, caroling. There was this, there's whistling, and I mean, anyway, all brought to me by my iPhone. As I sat on this just waiting for people to be done with their stuff. I'm learning the history. Why? Because of an insatiable love of just knowing things. And what do I deal with in life? People who just dismiss what I'm saying because they don't like it. They don't like the story. I get these. Have you ever had this? You know, the Germans have such a wonderful words. Witzelsucht and Sitzfleisch and Weltschmerz and Schadenfreude and all of these. But they don't mean just like happiness. They're always a compound happiness because my worst enemy was mauled in a combine accident or something. It's always Weltschmerz. This wonderfully long, complicated. There has to be a German word to explain this. Have you ever seen somebody send you a picture from someplace they've been and they're horrible? Here we are from, I don't know, let's say there's a picture from, here we're in Prague. Okay. And you look and you think, this is great. It just sounds good. We're in Prague. And you know they want to impress you, like, whoa. Oh, yes, this Christmas we went to Prague. And they show you a picture of it, and it doesn't look that great. Look at any of the travel vlogs and look at the food. It's just hard. Did you ever see Mark Wiens squatting over some place in the middle of some hamlet in China? No thanks. There's got to be a German word for places that look great by the sound of it, but you would rather cut off a digit than go there. It's got to be some long word for people who try to impress you. Do you get pictures of people with their families? That's my favorite. Those pictures. Who remembers the great days of the story? Remember when somebody you would get these when they had before copies, you would have like Mimeo and Ditto machines, and Tabitha is in the first seat of her bassoon whatever, and she debuted at the Hagersville. I mean, what? And I always wanted to send out a fake storyline that it was horrible. Got to tell you a true story. Yes, Yule log in, yes. Vassal bowl, yes, thank you, Allah. A friend of mine years ago used to be a media big shot. I mean, he was a big shot. And nobody would ever question him because he was a big shot. Nobody. So one year, he happened to be talking to somebody. He said, what is the worst possible... He was talking to somebody who's a baker or something. He goes, what is the worst combination of food that will give you the bitterest, most horrible taste if you put them together? He said, well, let me think about it. And he came up with something. He said, cranberry and asparagus, something with an alum. He says, can you make it just horrible? And he said, well, yeah, why? He says, I want you to do it for me. Can you make a bunch of these? He said, yeah. So he did it. He goes, here, try this. And he made a sample. It was so bad. It was just horrible. It was bitter. The consistent. He goes, that's what I want. I want you to make me 100 of these or whatever it was. So he had them. He wrapped them. Very, very interesting bow. And he wrote this story. He made it up. And he said when he was a little boy, his mother would make and he's Italian, and he made up some name that doesn't exist, for this Neapolitan or, I don't know, this Barres, whatever this was, this delicacy. And I'll never forget, he said, and when my mother would make it, she would put her finger, dip it in the anisette, and let me lick he made this up how his mother would help make it. And he sent this out, and he says, from my house to yours, Merry Christmas. And it's the worst. And he wanted to see who would tell him this is the worst. This is horrible. But they didn't because of who he was. And he laughed. And people would write back, that was so wonderful. Can we have the recipe? People lie. And it was horrible. It was just, and I've always wanted to do that. Of course, you got to be in a position that's so great where people won't question you. But this, it's just, and I love artificial stuff. Susan says milk and lemon, head cheese. Oh, there you go, Crawford. Let me see. Ray Conniff Christmas tunes. I was listening last night. I was relegated to a settee, and on one of these cable stations somebody had on, I was listening to everybody. Barbara Streisand was singing, Ray Conniff. Here is a great, one of my favorite names ever. I want to give you this guy's name. And if I give it to you, you will know, you might know who he is. This is the most wonderful name. Thurl Ravenscroft. Thurl Ravenscroft. He was the voice of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and Tony the Tiger. He had a great baritone. Thurl Ravenscroft. And there's something about the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Very evil. Very, very evil. I was listening a little bit. Sometimes they'll play that. I always thought that was kind of odd. But what I was trying to tell you again is, please, I wish you this year insatiable curiosity. The other day I was wondering the difference between centrifugal and centripetal. Look it up. How do things come? What is the story of this? How do things happen? Why do we do things? Where did this come from? What is the purpose? It was so cold yesterday. How cold was it? It was so cold, even for New York standards. I actually marveled at just being outside. It was exposure. Just being exposed could do some real damage. So, invariably, what I will do is I will meet someone and I will say, boy, I tell you what, that global warming, by the way, they call it climate change, but that global warming is sure something. And they will come up with an idea that the reason why it's so cold is because of climate change. I said, yes. I said, but this climate change seems to be colder. And the whole purpose of what you concern yourself with, theoretically, and your ilk, is that, icebergs melt and the seas are going to rise and all of this. And yeah, but I said, well, this flies in the face of that. Well, yes, it does. So what are you going to do? I don't know. So I immediately took my phone out and wanted to know, what is their reason? What is their justification for cold temperatures during the time of climate change? How does this work? How do you explain this? And it explains it. Did these people go and look? No. How many have noticed their car pressure has dropped significantly? How many of you who have warning lights on your cars that have, if your tire pressure is low, these warning lights go on? Well, why do you think that is? It's during cold weather. Why? Why does air contract during freezing? Why? Well, if it expands, it can contract. And when I was talking to somebody about this, because they were noticing that I said, have you looked this up? No. Okay, I've given you about 4 or 5. Nobody researches. This year, my friends, I want to give you the gift of telling you, look things up. Want to know everything. Want to know everything. Learn everything. This is the thing you can do. Make sure you do it. You've got a phone. It's a great phone. Did you see the picture the other day of Joe Biden at the White House. Did you see him? He's on top of a ladder. Well, he's 2 steps up. And he's supposedly, listen to this, he's putting a Christmas tree up on Christmas Eve. Who puts a tree up on Christmas Eve? First of all, at the White House, this is done. Remember when Trump had all these women would come and they would, you should have seen a Trump White House. People came from all over to help, and these women were. So this story, purportedly, they can't even tell you the truth about a tree. They say that here's Biden before, on Christmas Eve, trimming a tree. It doesn't make any sense. And the tree was in front of a door. It's in a doorway. It doesn't make any sense. And people noticed it. They can't even tell the truth about a tree. By the way, speaking of people noticing things, this is going to be very interesting. Internet sleuths. Watch what happens here. You know this Idaho murders case? Oh, this is interesting. I don't know if you've been following this. So now there are these internet sleuths, which is fun. And they're all around the world now, and they're coming up with these ideas, and they're starting to bother and harass people. That's not a good thing. So watch what happens next regarding sleuthing taking off via something akin to doxing, but so that's going to be something which is very, very interesting, and very, very interesting to note. I want to say this one thing today, just very, very, very specifically. This is the only thing I want to tell you about. I want to make sure, because I know you're busy and I know I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I just want to remind you I cannot wait to see you on January the 14th. That's it. At the Cutting Room. I want to see you. I want you to be there. That's the link. That's where you get tickets. That's the whole thing. That's all I want. That's all I want to say to you today. I want to tell you that 2023 is not going to be, I don't know if it's going to be any better. Probably not. I'm seeing right now I shouldn't be saying this on Christmas Day, but just so that we got to talk a little bit about this. I see everything just collapsing regarding the GOP. And if you notice how everybody is picking on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why is that? About her personal life? That's off limits, by the way. Little story about that. That's off limits. Look at this. Look at these wonderful things. James Brown. Christmas. I like this. Wow, look at all this stuff. Look at these wonderful stories. Liz Solakis love Italian cookies. Aren't they wonderful? What is your favorite? Let me ask you something. Let's go back to some fun stuff, because yesterday was a delight. What is your favorite stuff? Because let me tell you something. When it comes to Christmas time, cookies, cakes, pastries, like nothing there's, no matter what it is. This wonderful, these cookies, and that's what you got to kind of watch it, but just look at the genius of baking. Isn't that something? What is your favorite? What do you look forward to? What do you eat on Christmas that other people don't? Like sometimes people who make, how about a nice, years ago when I was a carnivore, we say, how about a nice honey-baked ham? Didn't that make your day? Going to get a nice honey-baked ham, the next day a ham sandwich. Oh my God. With some Dusseldorf mustard or something. Pizza rustica. Can't go wrong with that. Petit fours, yum. We just got a bunch of these petit fours. Where we get them from? Jacques Torres or? Yeah, we got these petit fours. Oatmeal cookies. Look at that. See that? Rocks cookies. The idea of the cookie. Don't you want to know? I swear to you, I want to go back in time. Who is this fellow, Pollan, who does these wonderful lectures on food? Who came up with the cookie first? Who says, yeah, I got an idea. Polish poo seed rolls. Dirt pudding. Anybody like a nice dump cake? That's always good for a few laughs. Rum balls. I had that once, but it was cleared up after about a week. Oh, pernil sandwich. This, of course, is the kind of a, well, the Puerto Rican called it pernil, and the Cubans would call it lechon. Lasagna with homemade noodles. Now look at that. See? Anybody ever have a goose? I had that once, but like for a Christmas goose, nobody goes really that crazy. What was that? Oh, Polish poppy seed rolls. Look at this. Come on, let's hear it. Write something. Give me something you love. Something that you would bring over. If we were getting together right now, what would you bring? What would be something, and even if you can't make it, something from your past? Pecan fingers, frozen cranberry salad, brown sugar icebox cookies, Spritz cookies. Now, Susie Bell, that just sounds great. Brown sugar icebox cookies. Who doesn't want that? Mama made the best ravioli and cannoli. Oh, we take turns buying the prime rib. Oh, that's another one too. We wanted one thing. Let me tell you something. I may not eat meat, but I love it. I'm a carnivore at heart. Jamaican rum cake. Christmas roasted duck cheese balls. You get that stuff too. Remember from Hickory Farm, you get a nice cheese. How about a nice cheese log? Doesn't the name log sound good? How about a nice log? Raw bison liver. Thank you. What was that? I like fruit cake. Does anybody I don't know if I've ever had a fruit cake in my life. Homemade butter roll. Oh my God. Ivoroni Brothers semolina bread. We know we had some Ivoroni's in Tampa years ago. Maybe it's the same. Fukushima peach bomb surprise. Mini pumpkin whoopie pies. Duck confit. Now there you go. Duck is something that I'm starting to salivate. There was a place years ago called the West Side Chef on 57th Street. They had Peking duck that was just, it was wonderful. Cream cheese, vanilla pudding, milk mixed thoroughly and layered with crushed Oreos. Oh, come on. That's it. Fruitcake only if soaked in rum. Oh, panettone. You've got to have that. I saw that yesterday. You got to have the box of the panettone. Huh? What'd you say? We have that. Yeah. We had a dessert, went to a dessert table. It was very interesting. Oh, very, 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 very posh. Anyway, that's all. Enjoy the day. Let's just take a time off because we're going to get back to, you know what, before, whatever it is. Just, we're going to get back. I did some things for my regular folks, my, how do I say this? Those individuals who subscribe to the channel. I give you some good stuff. I think it's over for Trump. It's sad. It's kind of sad. I think people have said, okay, that's enough. Bye-bye. Thank you. So that's going to be coming up. We'll see what the Kevin McCarthy stuff comes 2023. Whatever it is. Anybody here looking to, Entenmann's banana cake. Did you ever go to the Entenmann store that was like a day-old store? Did you ever have one of those things where you go and it's like, well, a day old with the amount of preservatives, does it even matter? I don't know. There's a place in New Jersey in Hackensack that they sell crumb cake. It weighs about 20 pounds. You can kill somebody with this thing. And everybody goes nuts over this stuff. Happy Christmas, and all those in chat and around the world. Thank you, Q&A News. That really means it. You know, we're a very demented world, aren't we? But this group, we've been around for a long time. And we don't really fit in. We don't really fit in. We're very strange in a unique way. We've been through everything. Demander-in-Chief says, the fat lady hasn't sung yet. Well, that's true. That is absolutely true. But we'll see. Couple of wishes for today. First of all, don't take yourself too seriously. Don't be too glum. Don't always look for the dark side. Yes, yes, yes. I know. There's a lot to be upset about. I recognize that fact. Yes. Travis says, we had a Hostess store. Same deal. Oh, remember when Twinkies? Remember the Twinkie? There was nothing. The Twinkie just said, I'm going to kill you. And I love them. Patricia says, I like our strangeness. Lisa Mick says, it's not over. It's not over. Nothing's over. I want you to recognize something, and I'm going to tell you a couple of absolute truths. Number one, everybody since the beginning of time has always said, this is the worst. They said it during the Civil War. They said it during World War I, World War II, Vietnam, everything. This is the worst there is. No, it's just different. Sometimes there's more of it. People love to think that they're living in the worst time. So there's a certain degree of terrible. Just take it easy. Nick Clark's from Colorado. Thank you, my friend. By the way, Colorado is where real cowboys actually exist. One time driving to the Denver airport, pulled into I think it was a Phillips 66, not too far from the Denver airport. And lo and behold, what do we see? But an Indian restaurant in this, I guess, very flat air. Incredible. This wonderful Indian food. We were out there around Chugwater and Wyoming, and loved that. Just that whole flatlands thing. Meadow says, may you live in interesting times. These are the most interesting. Like I said, just take it easy. Relax. Forget the idea of political parties. Forget the idea of naming what you believe in. Forget it. Call it the way it is. Be a realist. Don't worry about whatever anybody says about you. Call it the way it is. That's all. Call it the way it is. Speak the truth. Don't ever be afraid to speak the truth. Believe me when I tell you this. They don't want you to. So anyway, from all of us here at the Circle, Mrs. L and I send you our love, our thanks, our gratitude. We got it through another year. And you are simply put the most interesting people because you always have an open mind. The best part about you is that you have to be sometimes toned down. I can't say that enough. Other people have to be toned up. Most people I meet, I say things, they have no idea what I'm talking about. They think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, merely foolish. Remember that, the Cohanes? But you get it, and I love you for that, and I think you're terrific. So have a wonderful day today. That's it. Just relax. Take it easy. We'll get to this serious stuff again tomorrow. It's still going to be there for you. Joe Biden's going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Take it easy. Remember, try to appreciate the people that, if you've got family right now, because those crazy people that you have, those crazy people that you think, oh my God, you're going to miss like you can't believe. And the good news is, because of the phones, you've got more pictures. You've got 10,000 pictures of your grandfather. 10,000 at least, as opposed to 1 or 2. I think Norm MacDonald said something about that. So there's something good to be said about that. Everybody's got pictures. Everybody's got, and that's important. Because this is our little time, this conveyor belt of life, and pretty soon we're going to be gone, and there's going to be another group of people taking over, and it keeps going on forever. So, in any event, thank you. We love you. Have a great and glorious day. Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends. Merry Christmas. I don't know if anybody's doing Kwanzaa anymore, but whatever it is, enjoy it. Be true to yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what you must think or what you can't think. Be true to yourself. It's the hardest thing in the world. And be curious and look things up and investigate and research. That's all. So until tomorrow, my friends, same bat time, same bat channel, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Merry Christmas. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over.